All right, so we've reached our next goal. Good job, everyone. Thank you so much for all the support. And so, as promised, we're going to look into our incubators and our hatchling program now. And I'm with April, who is our fieldwork coordinator, and she does typically check on the eggs every single week. Why do we get eggs in the first place?
So a lot of the females that come into the center during the summer season are carrying eggs, and we're able to induce them if they're not able to lay them on their own once they come into our care. And once they lay the eggs, then we can plant them and put them in the incubators. We also get eggs from females that have passed away before they got to us, or have passed away while in our care. And we can remove those eggs and also put them in an incubator and hatch some babies.
Mm-hmm. Right, so we were trying to give these hatchlings a chance at life. So we've got our incubators set up here, and these are some of the last few ones because it's fall time. We don't have as many hatching right now, but I want to give you a look at the setup. So what exactly is the setup of the incubators?
So here we have two of the typical incubators that we use. They're set to certain temperatures depending on which species we have in the incubators. Here we have a snapping turtle and musk turtle incubator that we set at 27 degrees, and we have a blanding and painted turtle incubator that is set at 28 degrees. We put it at like a middle temperature to hopefully get both males and female hatchlings, because turtles, the sex of the hatchlings is dependent on temperature. Typically it's high temperatures bring females and low temperatures bring males, so hopefully if there's a middle temp we can get both. And then
Temperature is super important,
yes,
as well as the moisture.
Yeah.
So when we open up the incubator,
we have like a little trough of water at the bottom to just keep the relative humidity up in the incubators. And then we also water each egg bin weekly to keep the moisture level up in the egg bins as well, just so that the eggs don't dry out or they're not oversaturated, stuff like that.
and we do have some that are currently hatching today, which is very lucky because it's late in the season. So we've got some that we can look at and give you a sneak peek. So April will pull them out, and we're just going to walk out here and show you them. So we'll start with the first one. So these are snapping turtle eggs.
Yes, they're snapping turtle eggs. We typically have two different sizes of egg bins. Normally the bigger ones have a bit more eggs in it.
And snapping turtles can lay large clutches of eggs.
Yes. Yeah.
Depending on the size of the adult. The larger she is, the more space she has to carry eggs. So sometimes she can have even up to 70 eggs, but it really depends on each turtle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we've hatched around just over 3,000 eggs this summer, and these are part of them.
Wow. So we've got two that are currently hatching out of their eggs right now. And they use an egg tooth that allows them to break open the egg from inside so that they can start, shimmying their bodies to get out of the egg. And these two, you can see their heads are peeking out. It might be hard to completely focus. The snapping turtles are very dark in color, but they do have also two little legs sticking out there, just starting to peek out. This one also, there's its head and one of its legs sticking out. And it can take several hours, right? Even up to a day for them to get out of the egg.
It just depends on the individual, it seems.
Yeah. So those are not moving right now. It's a lot of energy to get themselves out of the egg. So they might take little rests and then keep trying. And so we'll check on them. Those ones are, of course, not fully hatched. So we'll note down on the bin that they have started hatching, and we'll know to keep checking them every single day. And then this one here, we've got a snapping turtle who has fully hatched and who has buried himself in this. This is the vermiculite that we put them in. And you can see the egg that it fully hatched out of there, behind April's hand right there. And so April, if you want to pick it up.
And I'll show you guys his yolk sac.
And we're saying he, but we don't actually know what the sex is at this point. It should, it's been given a chance to be either male or female.
So this turtle just came out of the egg this morning, I think. And this bump on its belly is its yolk sac. So this is what gives it all of its nutrients while it's in the egg. And then once it hatches, we wait until it absorbs all of the yolk sac before we put it into water, and then it can start eating normal turtle food.
Right, so we'll keep checking on it every day to see how absorbed the egg yolk sac is, and then once that belly is kind of flat, the plastron there, then we'll be able to put it in water. So that one's not ready yet to go in, so we'll keep checking on it, and like April said, it doesn't need to be fed while it's in that container because the yolk sac is giving it its nutrients. And we just don't want it to get any infection or cut while it's in the water, so it's better to leave it be until it's absorbed. And then once it's fully absorbed, we're putting it in water, and these babies are going to be spending the winter with us so that they have a chance to grow and they're not having to go through hibernation. And for conservation efforts, we've got permits to do this work and to try and give them a head start at life so that they're a bigger size when they're released back to their home wetland where their mom, close to where their mom was found, and they'll be released next spring, summer. So thank you everyone for all your support so far. We really appreciate it, and we're still trying to reach more goals. So keep an eye on our social media pages where we'll be showing you what things you can see if we reach those goals. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hi everyone! So thank you so much. We've reached the next goal for our Giving Tuesday, and as promised, we're going to give a sneak peek into our physio program. So I'm here with Anne, one of our dedicated, longtime volunteers who has been an amazing help throughout all these years for us. And Anne is part of the physio program. So when did you start as a volunteer, first of all? When did you get into the physio program?
I started as a volunteer in 2017, and I've been doing physio under care of Carol, who's our physiotherapist, for the last about year and a half.
Right, so how did the physio program start?
Well, we have a whole series of turtles that are close to being released but can't for some reason because of their injury. So they can't swim or they can't walk properly, whatever the case may be. And so they just need some extra help. So all the turtles in this room, and we have some in our other location, I guess we're up to close to 40 or so, in the program at the moment that need some extra exercise. They need some swimming training, that sort of thing, before we can actually put them out into the wild.
Right, right. So they've gone through different injuries that have led them to this program.
Mostly hit by car.
Mostly hit by
Unfortunately.
cars.
We
Yeah.
have a couple of odd ones, like somebody, like one has been injured by another animal. That happens. Some of them came in as hatchlings and weren't doing very well, and so, you know, they've been grown and raised to a level whereby they're still not ready to be released, but they're, you know, they're getting there with some practice.
Right. So it could be that there's some spinal injuries or
Head trauma. Yeah, like our snapper that we have here on display, he has some head trauma. So if you look at him, you can't see any obvious injuries, and he's quite small.
Right.
Still, he's still like a juvenile. But the reason he's here is because of his head injuries. He doesn't walk or swim straight.
Right.
He still kind of rocks from side to side. So the ramp work helps him, and we also do some water training with him.
Okay.
Right now he's just sitting there, but normally he runs to the top of the ramp.
Right. So these ramps have been created with little obstacles for them to climb over.
Yep.
And this is to test out how they're doing on land in particular.
This is land training, so we can raise or lower these ramps, and we do that obviously to give them additional training, and make it more difficult for them as we raise
Right.
the ramps. And then we have different size little bars here that you see, little obstacles. So wide ones and small ones, and we have different other ones besides these to give them some obstacles to try and climb over.
Right.
This one here is doing really well. This one came in this year, and
Looks
you
like
can see
there's
the
some.
injury here.
Yeah.
That was from the car injury. And this particular turtle is from the Ottawa area.
Okay, and so she came in and has been doing weekly exercises, or
All the turtles get touched every week.
Right.
We currently now have 4 people who are helping us,
okay,
just to make sure they get a fair amount of exercise.
right,
But also in their tanks we have rocks for them to climb, and we have some ramps for them to climb. So when we're not here, they're actually getting some exercise even when we're not here.
right, right. Well, it looks like this one's doing pretty well, is climbing over the different obstacles, so strengthening the limbs and
Yeah, and we test them all regularly. We have these testing sheets. They're two-sided. One side's for their ability on land, and the other side's for their ability in water. And then we can start to look over time how well they're doing. Are they getting better? Are they getting worse? Where should we put our focus of attention on? Where
Right.
should we spend more time training them in water versus land, or vice versa?
Right.
Whatever the case may be.
right,
It also helps us in the spring, because then we can show this to our medical team, and then they can help with the assessment as to whether they're ready to be released or not.
right. And we can show the sheets because there's different things that they have to test for, and it's all laid out so that they'll do an assessment throughout the year, and how they're doing both on land and in the water. Here's the back side. So we've got the swimming part on the back here, how it's swimming, whether it can float, because sometimes it's not just swimming, it could be, can they right themselves in the water?
Yeah, they need to be able to dive, because eventually they'll have to hibernate under, during the winter months. So they have to be able to dive, they have to be able to resurface, that sort of thing.
Right,
So it's not just swimming,
right.
because some of them can swim, but they can't dive. So we
Right.
have to train them to do that.
And what about this other one over here? So we've got a Blandings turtle.
Yeah. So we snapper, a paint, and this one's a Blandings turtle. And she came in this year as well. She broke this leg, so it's healed. But when she walks, she sometimes curls it under. So she's a healthy, pretty good 3-legged turtle, but we're trying to strengthen the shoulder part by
Okay.
getting her to climb some ramps. Her tank, which is a much bigger one than these, is full of rocks that she can try and bask on, but we make her try and climb up them to give her some, some challenges.
Right.
But she swims very well. So she's probably a good candidate for release at some point next year.
Right. And so to be able to be released.
They have to pass all their tests, and the medical team has to pass the tests.
Right.
So we just provide the information, and then the medical team will make a final assessment as to whether they're ready or whether they need a little bit more time.
Right. Well, that's amazing. So that's a great look at kind of the land exercises for these turtles. And I know Carol has done a lot of work developing. One of our volunteers, Carol, who's been with us for a long time, over 10 years, we believe, and she was a physiotherapist in her career.
Yes.
And so she's got the credentials for developing, these physio exercises, and so she has been a big part in starting this program. And now Anne is also a big part of the program as well. So we've got another turtle to show you, and this one is some of the water exercises.
So this is a little painted turtle. He's a male, and he walks really well, and he can use his back legs, but for some reason in water he's not using them. So that's bubble wrap that's wrapped around him, that's acting like a life jacket. So whenever we put him in water, we'll put a little life jacket on him. And over time, I keep making the life jacket smaller and smaller and smaller. So this is the smallest life jacket he's had so far. And he's doing quite well. So he's swimming on the surface. But you'll see he's still not using his back legs to swim.
Right.
So we can try and stimulate them. Sometimes he'll do it, sometimes he won't, because now he's on camera. See, you can see his back legs coming out.
Oh, yeah.
So if you sort of tickle the back end where his tail is, they'll respond by pulling out their hind legs.
Right, and that gets them using them.
Yeah, and you'll see he tips a little bit down at the back. That's
Right.
because I've given him a very small life jacket today, but
Right.
he's pretty good.
I love the creativity of using the bubble wrap. It's not too heavy, but provides enough support. And so you'll do these exercises and monitor the progress. And hopefully some of these will get to release this coming spring. Obviously it does take a while because, they're doing the physio. It's got to be repetitive, and they've got to really have the time to strengthen their limbs and learn how to use their limbs again. But eventually they do get there.
Exactly, yeah. And with all the turtles, we'll do hands-on physio with them. So in this guy's case, he's got the back leg problem. And although you'd never know it now because he keeps kicking me. But we will pull out, see how hard it is? We will pull out their legs and hold them in place for a while, just like you would do with a human who has, leg injury or whatever.
Right.
And then you can feel some tension because he's pulling against me. So where this finger in here is where his hip is. And he's actually pulling really hard. Like I can't pull his leg out.
Right.
There we go.
And that just kind of helps get them using their
Stretching,
legs. Yeah,
stretches, that sort of thing. Plus it'll help him in the water.
Right.
You just got to remember to use them.
Yeah. Sometimes they just forget to use their legs.
Yeah. We don't know why, but sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Now see, if I hold him at the surface, sometimes he'll kick. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stimulate the back end so that he uses them.
Right.
There he goes.
And of course, in their actual tank, so we can give you an example, we do have to be careful about the water level. So we've got it marked off here because each one has a different level of water that they can safely swim in.
I'll make sure that they can right themselves in water, so turn over, and whether they can swim well enough. And then we'll change the water level accordingly. So this little guy here isn't quite 100% in terms of swimming. But this one here is much deeper.
Right.
So this guy can actually swim. So we'll give him more water. And so we'll raise it like an inch at a time, monitor them, and then determine how deep the water should be.
Right.
Based on their capabilities.
Right. It's all very interesting stuff, and I feel like we could talk for hours about the physio program, and hopefully we'll be able to show more about it on our social media pages in the future. But speaking of social media, well, thank you, Anne, for giving us a sneak peek. And keep an eye on our social media. We will be posting more goals that we hope to reach and some exciting behind the scenes that you'll see if we reach those goals. So keep an eye out, and thank you again, everyone, for all the support. We really appreciate it.
This is one of our landing turtles that we're gonna do physio on. She's very shy. So she has a fracture here. She was hit, and when she came into us, so she was hit. She has a fracture. She got a broken leg, and they were able to do surgery on her, where they put. She had a broken bone, so they put a plate in to reconnect her bones so they could heal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a couple leg extensions if she'll let me do that. It's to keep her muscles in her leg from seizing up. The hope is that one day she'll regain full use of it. So she's kind of shy, so we'll see how she does. But I'm gonna do a leg extension and see if she'll let me do that. So we just take it very slowly and very gently. And we don't force it, we just kind of wait for her to relax into it. So right now I'm feeling a lot of tension. Just relaxing a little bit. So you don't want to force it because then you don't know what's hurting. So almost there. We're almost there. She's very shy. Almost. Feeling a bit of resistance, but she's doing really good right now. That's about as far as we like to try to stretch her leg. Sometimes when she's not so shy, she'll really relax and she'll... Oh, here we go. Good girl. There, so that's pretty good. She's doing good. And I'll usually hold that for about 15 seconds. And slowly bring up. There we go. So we usually do about 5 of those every other day, and that's supposed to help her leg stay in motion and keep everything from seizing up until she feels comfortable enough to use the leg by herself. So yeah, that is one of our landing physio tools. She's a very sweet girl. Alright. This little guy here, he's a male. He is one of our other physio turtles. He's a little bit shy. He is from this year. He's 361. So he's a physio. He doesn't want to use his hind legs. He has fractures on his hind end. And because of that, he's having a hard time using his legs. So he's another physio turtle. This leg here is very weak. He does have some movement in it, but it's just, he's going to need more extensive physio over the next little while. He might be with us for, I don't know, maybe a year or two. It can take a long time sometimes. But this leg is weak, so he can't really use it. It's pretty limp. And then this leg, he can use it a little bit, but he keeps it pretty tucked. So I do leg extensions for his tucked in leg. And then this leg I tend to do, I do a little bit of massaging to keep the blood flow through the muscles and whatnot. And I'll do a few leg extensions just to keep the movement, keep anything from seizing up. And I'll do bicycle movements, or just rotate into the different positioning that would be normal for the leg. And all of that, hopefully over probably a long period of time, will help him regain strength in his legs. I'm gonna come up and say hi. So I'll do a leg extension, and then I'll work on his other leg. Okay, here we go. So I'll extend this leg out, give it a good stretch. And then I'll hold that for about 15 seconds. And then I'll put it back in, I'll let it go. And then I'll do that about 5 times or so, that way his leg doesn't seize up. Say hi. And then the other leg, I'll do leg extensions. I'll give him a bit of a massage. Some of the turtles seem to like it. And I'll do some leg extensions with him. This is just something I do on a daily basis to keep his leg in motion. And then I'll also do bicycle movements. And sometimes he'll kick a bit, which is good. Right now he's really relaxed. And I'll try to stretch his leg out so that we can still work the muscles. Felt a little bit of resistance there, which is good. And then also put him on the floor to give him a bit of a floor walk, and I'll try and get him to use his legs. He doesn't usually like to go for walks. So that is the daily treatment for this turtle. He's still very feisty, so he's got a lot of fight left in him. All right. Can you go back normal? Rebecca. I'm a vet tech at the OTCC. Today I'm going to do a treatment on one of our patients. So this is a painted turtle, and she has plastron lesions. You can see that. So her plastron looks pretty rough. They can get bacterial infections, and then the lesions can spread on their plastron. Her lesions are a little bit more extensive. She has just finished a set of antibiotic shots, and we're just continuing the treatment until this clears up. So for this treatment, I'm going to put on betadine, which is kind of like a antibiotic, antibacterial, or not antibiotic, it's antibacterial. It can kill off bacteria, viruses, and whatnot. They'll use it for surgical preparations. And then I also have Flamazine, which is also an antibacterial cream. A lot of hospitals for humans can use it for people that have burns and whatnot. And then to keep her from rubbing it off while she's sitting in her cream, I have some Tegaderm, which is a film. It's a non-absorbent film, so it'll keep the cream from absorbing into the vet wrap that we're going to put on her afterwards. Okay? Alright. So I'm just going to dry her off. This turtle was attacked by an animal, so she is pretty chewed up. So that could be a reason why she's gotten some sort of bacterial infection, but a lot of the time when they get attacked by animals, they can still recover from it just fine. She's pretty mobile, so I'm just gonna put this on her. Smear it around a little bit. So I'm just gonna put this on her, and then I'll put the Flamazine on after. Alright, now I'm going to put the Flamazine on. I have to cover her whole plastron in the cream. It's quite a messy treatment. I know, sweetie. Sorry. Alright, I'll see if she will sit still for me while I do this. Alright. Almost. All right, we're almost done. So she has the film. It's going to keep it from absorbing into the vet wrap. I know, sweetie, I'm so sorry. It's okay. I know, it's okay, it's okay. You gonna sit still? Hmm? I'm gonna cover her with a blanket. She might try to run. Okay, it's alright. Very good. Okay. Good girl. Alright. So she's gonna sit like this for a little bit while the cream absorbs. And she goes through this treatment daily until her lesions resolve. Yeah. She's a very good girl. She's very feisty, and she'll most likely recover from this after a little bit more time has passed. Hello. So I have another patient here that I'm going to do a treatment on. It's another painted turtle, and this one has also been attacked by an animal, so could be a dog or a raccoon. So she is, or he rather, is pretty chewed up. I don't know if you can see. He has a bunch of abrasions, and he's pretty fractured on the plastron. He's kind of a bit of a mess right now, but he's been seen by the vets. He's had painkillers and whatnot, and because he is so lethargic, we're giving him fluids until he's ready to hydrate himself. And we are also putting him through a round of antibiotic shots. So that's what I'm going to give to him today. So I'm just gonna... He's pretty quiet, pretty lethargic. He's been hiding in his shell for a while, which I don't really blame him for. Okay, I'm gonna try and get up here so you can see in the light. You can see that. Okay, I'm gonna give him his fluids. Okay, a little poke. Done. It's because you tried to get it up. It's okay. It's okay. Here we go. Good job. It's okay. No, no, no. We're almost done. We're almost done. All right, good job. You did it. Yes, you did. Okay. All right. So on the other leg, I'm going to give you your antibiotic shot. Okay. Let's see how we do. If we can see this. This leg there. I can't really get it in the light. Here we go. Okay. Poke. Poke. Done. Good job. You did it. All right. And that's all the treatment he gets for this morning. Later he'll get another set of fluids just to keep him hydrated throughout the day. So yeah, that is, he's from this year. And he's pretty quiet right now, but hopefully he'll come around when he's feeling a little bit more better.
All right, everyone, we've reached our next goal. Thank you so much again. And we're going to take a look at one of our patient turtles who is having its wires removed. And I'm with Dr. Kristen here, one of our amazing veterinarians. We're so lucky to have her. And yeah, what are you doing here for this patient?
So this is a little male painted turtle that came to us in July, and he unfortunately was hit by a car this summer and had some fractures. So he broke his shell right here, and you can see that we fixed that shell by placing wires. But that was 4 months ago, and when I try to move that shell, it doesn't move anymore. It's 100% healed.
Right.
So my job today is actually to take the wires out because they're not doing anything anymore. So I'm going to remove the wires and then let him have the rest of the winter to complete recovery. And then we'll make sure he's good to go, make sure that he can walk, do all the things a turtle should be able to do before we release in the spring.
Right.
So wire removal, because the fracture has healed, this doesn't hurt. I am just going to cut the wire. I'm not touching his shell at all. And after I cut it, I just gently remove it. I'm going to use different cutters actually, because those ones were too small.
So this wire originally was holding the fracture and broken pieces of shell together in place.
That's right. So we use the wire kind of like a cast. If you had a broken arm, you would have a cast. When a turtle has a broken shell, it gets a wire. So it holds the two pieces of the shell, which is just like bone, tightly together so that they can heal, which you'll see when I take this out. There's one piece out. This is just like shedding skin. This little piece here just came off. That's normal. And then I'll take this one out. You can see that's called a scute that's shedding there.
Right.
You can see.
One of its marginal scutes there.
Yeah.
Which naturally
Get this
sheds
out. They
as
do.
grow.
Just like a snake sheds its skin, the turtle sheds the scute. So this whole piece, when he came in, was loose. It was no longer attached. And now, when I put pressure on it, it doesn't move. That's a fully healed shell. So I'm actually just going to see how well this little guy can move too. Set him down, make sure that he's fully mobile, and go for a little walk. Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect. He's moving along.
So this is a really happy time because that means the turtle's recovering and on its way to, eventually be released come summertime.
Yeah, that's right. So this little guy will be in full water. He'll have a full setup for the winter, get fed throughout the winter, get nice and strong and ready for release in the spring.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for showing us a sneak peek into this. Okay, so we have another patient turtle here. This is a snapping turtle, and we're going to be removing the wires from this turtle here. So Kristen will be showing us how she does it with a snapping turtle.
Okay, so this male snapping turtle was also hit by a car in the summer, and his shell was fractured right here. You can see it's a little bit imperfect there, but it's been a few months, which is really important. We want to make sure, just like when, again, if you were to break your arm, it takes a few months to heal. It does for their shells too. So minimum of 2 months, and he's had more than enough time. So I'm actually going to take this wire out here. Obviously I have to be a little more careful because it's a snapping turtle. And the biggest thing with them is that they just don't like to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to gently cover his head so that he's not nervous, because I'm a threat to him. He sees me as a threat. That's how he sees me. And then I'm going to, and again, this doesn't hurt at this point if he reacts at all. It's just that he doesn't want me so close.
Right.
Fair enough. He's a wild animal. That's allowed. So I've cut it. Now I'm just going to gently remove it.
And originally we used dentist drill to drill 2 little holes so
That's
we
right.
can loop the wire through.
Yeah, so when they come in, they get some really good pain control, and then we make holes using, you're right, a dental drill, and then this wire fits through, and then we tighten it. Now this fracture here, you can see it's not moving anymore, so it's nice and stable. These are actually sutures, so I stitched that because the skin needed to be repaired too, but those will just go away with time. I don't have to take those out. So now we have a turtle with a healed fracture
Amazing.
that should be ready to go back home in the
Wow.
spring. And you can see that as long as he doesn't see what's going on, he really doesn't mind too much.
Yeah, no, he's behaving very calm. Well, thank you again, everyone, for all the support, and stay tuned for more goals that we're hoping to reach. Keep an eye on those social media pages, and thank you, Kristen, for
Thank
giving
you.
us.
Thanks, everyone. We really appreciate everything.